And what are we looking up?
I'm looking stuff up while you talk.
I bored you so thoroughly that you're off Googling what?
No, there was a good post that somebody had recently about what good atheism has done.
I see.
But
okay.
wasn't able to find it.
No, that's fine. You don't have to explain.
Don't do that.
All right. Okay. Oh, do we want to have our fun email?
We get email.
We get email.
And if I could print this out so some of you could see it, boy, that'd be fun.
Oh, this is great. This is
there's this whole thing with
here. You read it because it came
punctuation, spelling. There's almost nothing capitalized. There's a few homophonic errors.
You can put that one up on the blog.
The subject is how misleading you are.
No, it's how misleading your are.
Oh, sorry. I'm so used to reading things one way that when people screw it up that badly, I miss.
Yeah.
How misleading your are, with an exclamation mark.
Mm-hmm.
Atheism is not new and is as old as religion itself. Believing in oneself.
Wait, now let's stop right there. I mean, duh moment number one.
I think maybe predate religion.
Well, in terms of
to invent a belief before somebody could believe it.
Yeah.
And prior to them believing it, they didn't believe.
Yeah, they didn't believe simply because it didn't even occur to them, right?
Yeah,
but to have atheism as an oppositional stance would have taken religion first.
Yes.
So, atheism is not new and as old as religion itself. That's duh moment number one in sentence number one. Let's keep going.
Then believing in God.
Okay.
Sentence number two.
Okay. Exclamation point.
I use sentence in the loosest possible terms.
Yes. We're going to keep an exclamation point count too, so that's the first one.
I am a scientist, not atheist. Okay. Nobody ever said that scientists had to be atheists, did they? Did I miss a memo?
Well, I think that scientists ought to at least be functionally literate or be able to write.
I don't believe for a second this person's a scientist, but I'm actually addressing this point about I'm a scientist, not an atheist. Okay, there's plenty of those.
Yeah.
People can be wrong about things. I look at facts to back up my beliefs, not speculations about if or not there is a God.
I'm still here. Yeah.
I look at facts. I'm agreeing. I tend to look at facts, and I'm not speculating. I'm asking where's the evidence of a God. So we'll continue. I know there is billions of atoms and trillion to the second power of DNA splattered throughout, with a hyphen, by the way, the universe and thing unexplained by science today, exclamation mark.
That's what. Trillion to the second power of DNA splattered throughout the universe. Now let's just bask in that visual, folks, for just a minute.
There's a kind of a sub-comment that we can make about belief here.
I'm just hung up on the right. I mean, I love that.
How many of you believe he's a scientist? Come on now. Before you assume that there is no God or assume there is, you must look at the evidence.
Duh moment number two.
I completely agree.
Yeah,
And by the way, I'd say not before you assume. I'd say instead of assuming.
Yes.
Consider the evidence and then base your belief on that evidence. There was a period there to mark the end of the sentence, but it actually keeps going. And not at the winners of history's version of truth, exclamation mark.
We're at 3 now.
So he seems to think that I've come to the assumption that God doesn't exist without actually examining the evidence and instead accepting the version of history's version of truth. So
which would be that God exists because religion has sort of run the world for thousands of years, are we not?
Just because they claim to be one thing doesn't mean they are that which they claim.
4.
Another exclamation mark. Okay, I agree. Because you claim to be a scientist, and that does not mean that you are that which you claim. Atheist, singular, are the same. You worry about future and worry about today. Now, it's possible we thought about this could be somebody's second language. English isn't their primary language.
Except
the name, which I'm not going to read.
Yeah.
isn't one that would lead me to conclude that English is a second language. I'll just put it that way. It's possible.
But anyway, we're on exclamation point 5.
Yeah. Atheists are the same. You worry about future and worry about today, as most humans do.
6.
Another exclamation mark. I worry about my children and their future.
7. We worry about your children and their future.
More than I did before I got your email. But I look at the Christian world and see a joy they have that no other set of people have.
8.
Really?
Huh.
How do you, I mean, I can understand that based on your experience, this is what you see, that Christians are more joyful than others. I'm done. Oh, there's the cow again. Hey. What's the evidence to back that up? Because, I mean, that's kind of like saying, along the lines of saying the Christians are more moral than other people. When we actually go out and do studies, we find, for example, that people who claim to be Christian are no more moral, no more ethical. The divorce rate is as high or higher. I don't particularly see them more joyful. And when you talk to some Christians about it, they have the exact opposite view. That some Christians, not all, because they're so gung-ho on fire for Jesus, they're persecuted by Satan, and that's the reason why their lives are miserable. So where is this joy that is superior in this portion of the population that doesn't exist in as great a degree in this other population? Because none of the data that I've seen actually supports what you're saying.
And even if it did, since when does X makes me happy equate to X equals true? Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that if you ask a bunch of drunks how they're feeling, you're going to get a really good response rate for damn good, boy.
Yeah, that's George Bernard Shaw's classic line. To say that a religious man is happier than a non-religious man is no more to the point than to say that a drunk man is happier than a sober man. Makes no difference.
Now, there is an issue that if a particular religion had a positive benefit on the individual that made them live a happier life, that may actually be an argument worth making if you say that your only goal is happiness. I'd say that the things that we find about religion that would provide joy or happiness or benefit or positive, you can find all of those things in secular areas as well. And the reason is because none of it is coming from any supernatural agent. It's like the example I've used before where a guy is in a mine and it's caved in. Praying might make it more likely that he's going to survive, but not because God's going to intervene. It's because it's going to have a calming effect that's going to cause him to use less oxygen, which is going to extend the amount of time that he has before he suffocates in order to promote a rescue. Now, God didn't do this. Prayer did. The thing is that the real benefit, the calming effect, the optimism towards being rescued, hope, whatever, that can be achieved by prayer, no matter which God you pick, meditation, or a rational evaluation of the situation. Understanding that if I calm down, I'm going to use less oxygen. And by the way, now that I know that and I can get calm real quick, let me see if there are some other things that I can do besides begging a bearded man to frickin' rescue me to get myself out of this situation.
Yeah, like dig my way out, if possible.
People find their car keys after praying, not because God tells them where the car keys are. It's because they calmed down, focused their brain on something, and remembered where they put their car keys. So, where are we? Go look at the Christian world, see a joy they have no other set of people have.
Yeah, we're at 8 exclamation points.
Yeah, so I look at both sides, no worries and a joy beyond measure, or fear and self-human interest.
9.
And death. Like, Christians don't die? To believe in something greater than one's self. But left to human temper, the world is then ruled by fear, hatred, and death. Wars, disease, famine, religion has bring out love and understanding. Bull! Religion has bring out love and understanding, and it's secularism that's responsible for wars, disease, famine. You just stop drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yes.
But for a few bad apples, take Islam, for example, it claim all infidels should be killed. Two more exclamation marks. Okay, first of all...
oh, man, where do you start with that? That's a target-rich environment if we've ever seen one.
I'm going to do something. Somebody asked us to, when we talk about things that are in the Bible, to provide the verses more often. I'll try. I won't be so crude to just say go look it up yourself, but you can Google it really quickly. But there's a passage, I think it's in Deuteronomy, maybe chapter 13, but don't quote me, that says if your husband or wife or somebody tries to convince you to come and worship some other god, your hand should be the first one on them to put them to death. This is no different than what you're seeing in Islam. You're just ignoring what's in your Old Testament.
Well, also, what was it? Is it not Joshua, the book, where you have God's armies going on this something like 30, 35 city tour of mayhem and war and destruction,
yes.
and then they finally wipe out the Midianites, and God says, okay, well, kill absolutely everyone in this city except for all the young women, keep them for yourselves, and then you have this sort of God-ordained mass rape of 36,000 Midianite women. I just don't see a whole heck of a lot
the point, of course, is that the justification for going over there and killing them was that they were worshiping some other god. They were the infidels.
Yeah, so...
You don't get to blame... Just because secular society has dragged the religion that you prefer, kicking and screaming, towards sanity and morality, doesn't mean you get to pretend that your religion is without its problems and point your fingers at some other ones. Yes, Islam is a messed up basket of crap. It's also younger than yours, and it's been the enforced religion of a number of states. It hasn't had the opportunity to be dragged kicking and screaming towards sanity the way your religion has. But you don't get off the hook. You don't get to pretend that the stuff that's in your Bible is not in your Bible, unless you're one of those people who just say, well, the Bible doesn't matter, it was written by men, it was all wrong, and I just believe in Jesus. He just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy. Because you've invented your own new religion. You've ignored the foundations of your religion and created something that makes you feel good.
And a lot of believers do that. I did an essay some years ago on what I call Christians' moral blind spot, where they'll just sort of decide not to notice the things about their beliefs that and the history of their religion that are a little bit ugly, and simply focus on what gives them the warm fuzzies, and that's fine.
Yeah, it's a banquet.
Yeah, so... And you bring those things up, and they'll usually give you the "No True Christians" line, or et cetera, et cetera. So
I can't. As somebody who used to be a Christian, depending on your definition, I can't count the number of times I've had the "No True Christian" thing. Let me finish getting through this, and we got more calls.
Okay, yeah, because we want to get. Let's get through this fast, because it's just. And we want to talk to.
But in Christian belief, accept Jesus into your heart and be saved beyond your earthly years. This is just a look at what our atheists and their views. Looks like no one ever thought it through. We don't have enough evidence to claim there is no God.
Well, we don't have enough evidence to claim there is no invisible cosmic bunny rabbit named Gus. But, what's the evidence that he does exist? Well, probably just as bad. So,
I think we have enough evidence to claim there is no God.
Depends on how you define.
We may not be able to prove it to anything close to an absolute certainty. But I'm pretty much convinced that there is no God. And by the way, it doesn't matter, because the burden of proof is on the people who are making the claim that a God exists.
Yes.
Or creation, but belief, and then you must stomp out the belief in love, hope, and faith if there is no God. No, you don't.
Yeah. What does there being a God have to do with love, hope, and faith? I mean, faith I can understand. That's
chuck faith, but love and hope, we're kind of fans of those.
Yeah, see, because that has to do with reality and not fantasy.
For all the idea of God is a starting point of creation. Here's where we have fun with science.
Oh yeah, this is how much of a scientist this guy is.
Here's your scientist who wrote us. If Big Bang is correct, then God is the impact of two asteroids.
Wait. Read that again. It's too beautiful.
If Big Bang is correct, then God is the impact of two asteroids.
I love this man.
But why hasn't there been another Big Bang with 3 question marks? All the time, asteroids...
He's missed out. He's missing out the fun of the Big Bang.
All the time, asteroids impact each other, and the universe keeps expanding into infinity.
That's why we have the universe because asteroids just keep
Big Bang was a couple of asteroids, and since that happens all the time, then obviously we should be seeing Big Bangs all the time, but we don't. It just keeps expanding, so this Big Bang theory must be wrong. Your Big Bang theory is wrong.
I think our boy was hit by an asteroid at some point.
But to be nice, he follows it up with a final line that clearly is derived. Hey, I was right. Deuteronomy 13:6. I don't have to have that stuff memorized, but sometimes I do. Anyway, he follows up this asteroid impact Big Bang thing with a line that clearly follows logically from the preceding sentence and the rest of the scientific dribble. Atheism is a belief just as Satanism is, belief in oneself. Thanks. And some of you wonder why I don't get around to your real emails.
Yeah. I don't need to believe in myself. Look, here I am.
Yeah, he's not. Not a scientist. I'll say. And if you are, I need to find out where you got your credentials, because we need to have a talk with those people.